also stand in strong support of this bill because unfortunately I've had a lot of firsthand experience with sober homes and rehabilitations, having both had a father and a brother who suffered from addiction. And at a very early age, I would look for a sober home for my father, and it was a very difficult task. 20 years later, I found myself looking for a sober home for my brother. And the process was no easier, it was no less complicated, and it was no less painful. And when we did find a sober home, often I would look around and I would realize that this was not a supportive, safe environment. And I would suggest that he pack his bags and we go find yet another sober home. And that was a very difficult task because, as we're discussing here today, there are some very good sober homes and there are some not so good sober homes. And the difference between the two are life and death. And that's what we're really talking about here today. The basis of this bill is that we're trying to weed out the good from the bad, so no family has to go through what others have to go through. We're looking for a mechanism that helps those families and those addicts. I'm not saying that this bill would have saved my brother's life, but I think we have an obligation to all the addicts throughout the state of Connecticut and all of those who are suffering from addiction and trying against all odds to stay sober, and to those families who are just looking for a safe environment and a healthy environment for their loved one. So I'm really proud of the work that we've done on a bipartisan basis through our Public Health Committee. I want to thank our good chairman for all the work he's done to lead us to fruition. And I think we've passed some really great legislation for addiction for the state of Connecticut and helping to support those who are suffering. And this is another step towards that end. And I thank everybody for their support.